of our teams early this morning as the Italian trio of Borsani, Mustolesi and Nespoli make their way to the shooting line. And there's the GB team, the two Halls and Wise. And Neil, how do you see this one unfolding?
I think looking at how they came out of qualification, it's safe to say that the Italians, especially with the experience they have, that they are the favorites in this match. Great Britain team is a little bit more experienced, but then again they had they upset France in the quarterfinals. Ranked #1, so they've definitely shot great chances coming into this gold medal match. I think especially for Italy, there's more on the line than just this gold medal. Italy is really in contention for those higher spots on the world ranking list, and haven't qualified for the Olympics yet with their team, and winning this tournament gives them just a couple more extra points that could help them in the long run at the end, when end of June the world ranking list is made up. So especially for Italy, this is, well, winning this can just make a difference on getting one of those last two spots for the Olympics if they don't qualify through any of the two tournaments that are left for them. For Great Britain, they are a little bit further off the mark on world ranking points, so they really have to focus on qualifying through the tournaments. So for them, it's really gaining this experience and just doing their best and getting that gold medal. But for Italy, there's a little bit more on the line.
Nespoli with a 7 from his first arrow. Bookended by a couple of 10s.
Yeah. And Nespoli is the most experienced archer on this team, who won who's Olympic champion, and won a lot of medals. So we'll see if this 7 was just a glitch, if it was a bad shot, or if there's something else. But it's nice if you shoot a 7 that both your teammates shoot a 10, so still have a 9 average, which is pretty okay. And the Brits start with 2 8s. So they need to dial in as well a little bit.
Yes.
A 9 there from Hall. So trailing Italy by 2 points. So we go into the last arrows of this opening end. More gold for Mussolesi.
A nice recovery shot from Nespoli after that opening 7. So his side mark is okay. Just has to focus on making good shots.
All gold but 1 for the Italians. For GB, they need 10-10-10.
Taking long on a shot, Tom.
So the set gone for GB. But a 10 from Alex Wise, who'll compete in the mixed competition as well. Or was it in the mixed competition, I should say. But for Great Britain, they fall short of that Italian total. So it is their continental neighbours who take the opening set. And just interestingly there, Emil, you mentioned about the length of time on that opening arrow for the second round of them for GB. Usually that's an indication of a player being a little bit unsettled in their shot, but I guess the longer one archer takes with their shot, the more pressure that is heaped on the rest of your teammates, because there's less time for them to execute their shot as well. So it's a bit of a compounding effect potentially, maybe not so the case there, but there is that capacity for, if you take it too long on your shot, then it puts time pressure on the rest of your teammates.
Yeah, time is a factor in team matches. It's less of a factor for recurve archers. They can generally shoot fast shots if necessary. But yes, if you have one archer in your team that's generally taking more time than the others just have to deal with it. But I think the influence of a bad shot is of a long shot is more on the result of that particular shot. Definitely in testy, windy conditions, if you're holding for a long time, your muscles and your body just gets fatigued, and it's less easy to finish your shot strong, which is really necessary in these conditions. So I think making longer shots has more influence on your own result than on the result of your teammates, because in general, if you have two quick archers in your team, you have more than enough time for recurve archers in a team round.
Hall kicks things off with a 9 to tee up Wise, who shoots second, who ended that first end with a 10. And he delivers again.
Great shooting by the Brits after that first end. Shooting 28s, keeping your arrows in the yellow it's good in these conditions, and it's always puts a little pressure on your opponents.
Well, it's not a 10, but it is gold, and that's where
gold
the
and
Italians will want.
a lot of usable information from Mauro. After Federico shot his shot, he gave him all the information he needed to maybe adjust his own shot to give it a better chance to land in the 10.
Teams locked at 28 apiece as we go round again in this second end. Can GB keep up the pressure? The first arrow to stray from the gold and into the red. Really, a 10 would come in very, very handy here now for GB to rectify that 8. But it's backed up with another arrow in the red.
That really opens up the door for the Italians. You see the Brits all drifting a little bit to the right. It's a testy win because it's coming from the front, which means it easily deviates a little bit coming from the left, coming from the right, and you constantly have to adjust to that. You have to be very alert on what the flags are doing at the moment of your end. Even with that 8, they still have a great opportunity to clinch the set if Borsani can keep it in the yellow. Which he can.
Which he dependably does. So, the second set claimed by the Italians. A 9 to finish and a 4-point lead now heading into the third end. Much to do for GB, and well, the more archery you watch, the more you really appreciate what an unforgiving sport it is. You can be shooting so well, but one momentary lapse where you stray from gold to red, as he said, Emil, just opens the door. And opposition are ruthless, aren't they, in taking those opportunities?
Yeah, especially the final matches, they are very short. So I think the teams or the athletes that know how to take those opportunities best when they arise, those athletes they win the most medals. So that's why you often see the same athletes in your final matches, in your individual final matches, in your mixed teams. Those are the athletes or the teams that if they get like a little opportunity, they can shut that door and just steal that set of you. And Italians, I think, are especially well known for that. So even trailing by 4-0, Italians they somehow they can find some motivation or some strength to, if you give them a little shot, they can clinch back into a match. That's what made them a winning team already for decades.
Well, we saw there the rest of the GB delegation in fine spirits as they enjoy this final, featuring their men who look to have found their groove here in the third end. 2 10s to kick this set off. The third would be mighty. But a 9 not bad. 29 for GB, over to Italy, who know that they just need 1 point from this set to clinch gold.
They are in the same situation as the Dutch team one match ago. So can they do the same and just follow the scoreline of the Brits? Let's see. Nespoli up. Hasn't been in his best shape this match yet, so but with all his experience, still might fight some. No, still find a 10 maybe in the next shot.
3 9s, and GB have a lead to work with at long last in this gold medal match. Can they capitalise upon this 2-point lead in the third end, the one that they must win?
And scored as an 8.
As far as that first arrow is concerned.
A 9 or a 10 would really help the cause here for the Brits.
And And there is that 9. So a tall task for these Italians here. Ten achieved. They need 29 in total from these 3. So a 10 and a 9 to claim gold. So it all comes down to this final arrow. A 10 to win gold.
9.
Great grouping by the Italians. They're just low in the yellow. 55.
Unofficially, TGBR has won this round with 1 point.
Great grouping. But if the scores are to remain as were projected through the end, then it won't be enough. And Britain will take that end and will move to a 4th set. A bit of tension cut by the vociferous Australian support. Always audible at a sporting event. As the rest of the GB team look on, anxiously awaiting the decision. There's some deliberation about the scoring here.
I think there were no liners for the Italians, so and there was no liner for the Brits that could be marked down, because they marked the low arrow as an 8, so it was definitely an 8. Might even been a 9, but probably not. So this one definitely goes to the Brits, and it's 4-2. But another must-win set for them.
So confirmed.
Can they start this set the same as they did the previous set? And I hope I did not jinx it, but no, they can't. Opening with a 7.
Big pressure on these next 2 arrows. On Wise, who shot very well. A 9 called,
Yeah.
right there on the edge.
It's scored as an 8 in the top, so, but I think it was a 9. It was called a 9 by the coach.
9.
But let's for now think of it as an 8 to be on the safe side. But we have to keep in mind that it might be marked up into a 9. That's definitely an 8.
Vai dentro, come prima.
A little bit of a better start for the Italians in this end. really have an advantage to work with. And the Brits need something special. I would say 29 or 30. Less than 29 won't do anymore.
Well, there's 9. 2 10s ordered by Emil for the GB team here with their final arrows of this end. It's a 9.
Dai ragazzi, Guidaci. Va bene.
Nine.
Bene dentro.
So 27 from those final 3 arrows for GB. It is all in the Italians' hands now.
8.
Oh, back-to-back
They require-
8s.
Yep. Started the match great now, shooting a couple of 8s, but that's not too bad. They have their advantage. They need another couple of good shots,
7.
which is not what Nespoli hoped for with this left 7. So it adds a little bit of pressure to this last shot, because the Brits might have 52. So let's just be on the safe side that he needs a 9 for this match. But they have a great anchor in Bossani, who shot, I think, probably the most points in this team round for the team, and really when it mattered, he shot those 9s and those 10s to seal the deal.
Matteo Bossani with the 9 at the end there, and surely
even a
enough
10.
for the Italians.
Yeah. So 53 for the Italians. Definitely less for the Brits, who needed to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champion and gold medalist is Italy.
Confirmation right there from the scores are in. The Italians are the champions in Turkey. The gold in the men's team recurve, successfully won by Matteo Bossani, Federico Mussolesi and Mauro Nespoli.